please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
This is the Evoque Convertible. I know it's been out for a while, but we were waiting for the right weather to bring it out. In fact, the monsoons are a good way to enjoy that wind in your hair experience. In fact, the monsoons are also the reason why this car's dirty, and I'm going to leave it that way. This is one of the very few convertibles that actually looks good when it's dirty. After all, it finds its roots in SUVs. But SUVs are typically large and burly, meant to take 5, 7, 8 people in comfort. But when the Evoque came out, it actually broke that stereotype, spearheaded the charge for compact luxury SUVs. But more importantly, it made a bold fashion statement. With the convertible, it makes an even bolder statement. I mean, look at it. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Yes, quite a few drop-top SUVs exist, like the Jeep Wrangler or the erstwhile Gypsy, but none of them peg luxury and aesthetics as their primary draw. The Evoque does just that. It looks great even today and lends that handsome styling to the convertible variant too. It is based on the two-door variant, and compared to its hardtop counterpart, the convertible features a shorter and steeper A-pillar that is comparable to low-slung convertibles like the Audi A5, for example. There's only a small problem. You see, when convertible sports cars pull their roof back up, they look like coupes, which is a beautiful form. But when this car pulls its roof up, it looks like a coupe crossover, which inherently isn't a very good-looking body style. So you see, the best way to look at the Range Rover Evoque Convertible is with that fabric roof down. Dropping the hat also accentuates its muscular wheel arches and narrow overhangs, while the wheels, pushed out at far corners, give this car an athletic demeanor. Compared to the low-riding convertible sports cars, the Evoque Convertible won't make you creak your back when you get in and out of it. Even the rear seats are easy to access, and 4 grown-ups can go road tripping together in this car. The 251-litre boot may not sound like much, but it can swallow 4 duffel bags full of supplies for a weekend getaway. And that is without having to leave behind the space-saver spare wheel. Commendable, considering the fact that the boot accommodates the entire roof and takes only 18 seconds to tuck it in or 21 seconds to put it back up. The latter can seem like an eternity if there is a sudden downpour, but the black and brown upholstery endures this and much worse soiling quite well. We know because we had a field day with this car in mucky trails, and yet restoring the cabin back to its clean self wasn't too hard. It's got a Range Rover badge on the hood, which means it's got decent capability off the road as well. Enabling that is a 4-wheel drive system and the terrain response system, which lets you alter different driving modes as per the terrain that you're driving on. This car looks better when dirty and is quite capable of taking the dirty route too. You don't have to worry about ruts, bumps and potholes with this convertible, and that is the beauty of it. But the road-biased Pirelli Scorpion wear their tires are a restriction, and their wide profile can become quite a handful when driving through clay or sticky muck. With its stock setup then, the Evoque Convertible is good for mild off-road trails. Going into jungle safaris would need knobbier tires to plow through the trickier stuff. Apart from the usual bits of open-top motoring like driving up a mountain road or going down the highway or driving next to a coastline, what this car will also enable is going back to safaris with open-top motoring. It was done back in the day, it was quite a popular thing back in the day, and that is a story for another day. In fact, my colleague Bob Rupani, he is already jumping with joy even at his age with the launch of this vehicle, because he is now waiting to get his hands on this car, take it out into the jungles. It's got a petrol engine, which also means that most of the jungle safaris in India will allow this vehicle. Diesel vehicles are not allowed because of the noise and the clatter that they produce. The petrol refinement will obviously allow this vehicle to head out on those jungle safaris. Now that's something that is definitely worth looking forward to. But like I said, it is a story for another day. The beauty of the Evoque is also its handling characteristics. The short wheelbase of this vehicle gives it nice and tight dynamics. It feels very focused around
bends even around tight bends, and thankfully that doesn't change with a convertible either. It still feels as focused, it still feels as tight. That makes for some good driving fun.
Around the winding roads, the Evoque isn't the sportiest SUV around, and the convertible form means that it is even softer than its five-door variant. But the compact wheelbase makes it quite agile around switchbacks, and the wide rubber scrubs better against tarmac and has confidence-inspiring grip, which prevents this car from feeling unnerving. Therefore, don't expect sports car rivaling dynamics, even if the wind in your hair is fueling those expectations.
Motivation for the Range Rover Evoque Convertible comes from the 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, which belongs to Land Rover's new Ingenium family of engines. It puts out about 240 PS of power, which is quite healthy if you compare it to the other 2-litre engined SUVs in this particular category. But the beauty of this motor is its torque, 340 Newton meters, which is delivered from as low as 1500 RPM. So the kind of low-end torque that you get is very comparable to a diesel motor. What that translates into is very easy drivability in the city and easy overtakes on the highway.
The 9-speed automatic that it has made it to is a bit of a dampener though, as it never quite feels as telepathic as you would like. It is jerky at city speeds and lethargic when you are in the mood for spirited driving. Resort to the paddle shifters though, and you will have more fun driving this car around. It went from 0 to 100 km an hour in a mere 7.6 seconds during our test, which is quite quick. But the rest of the package isn't as enthusiastic. What it is then is a laid-back cruiser that lets you enjoy the joys of open-top motoring without having to worry about imperfections in the road. And there's no other car that I know of that does this so well.
Yeah, I know, the Indian conditions aren't the best suited for open-top motoring, but I've often said this. These few moments that you get in the monsoon season or the winter season, they're enough for me to justify buying a convertible. And when you have a car like this, something that looks so good on the outside, so plush on the inside, and sits on the go-anywhere capabilities of a Range Rover, the idea just becomes so much more compelling.